Today's video was sponsored by Squarespace.
How's it going, folks? Are you gonna be good? You just gonna do that the whole time? Are we good over there? Yeah. Test. All right. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a little bit different from what we're used to doing. Let's start with A, I'm on a couch. B, I have one of these. I thought to take a break from some of my design videos to give myself a mental break, and also maybe some of my other viewers who might not enjoy that so much, a little bit of a break, change of content, you know? I will introduce my drink. Now this time around I don't have some wine, but I do have some very thematic limerita in a margarita cactus glass with my trusty cactus pillow right here on my desert themed couch. Sure, you could call it that. I have my fire because it's winter, or so they tell me. I wouldn't know because it's still 80 in LA, but it actually was raining a little bit out, so who knows? Changing of the seasons. What? Hey, bear. He doesn't know what he wants, and neither do I. I should probably take my Crocs off. Got my Crocs on, but I should take them off because they're really loud. All right, so I thought for this week's video, we're gonna be reading and responding to some of my DMs. I have a lot of DMs ever since I've gained some traction on YouTube. I open my DMs up to anybody who's anybody, and my DMs have become very overwhelming, and I am very afraid to answer a lot of them because there are so many, and I don't want people to feel like I'm ignoring them intentionally. But please trust me, there are just so many of them that it's overwhelming, so I'm gonna go through some of them right now, and maybe I'll be able to answer some of the questions that you might have, just so we can like kind of cover some general ground about anything that's in my DMs. I'm gonna try to answer as many of them, not as many of them, I'm gonna answer a good chunk of them this evening, and that's what we're gonna do. So if you enjoyed watching this video, make sure you leave a like down below and comment if you want to see more videos from me, and also subscribe. That'll actually help you see more videos from me. Never mind, I'm gonna stop rambling. Gonna get going now. All right, so just to start this off, I have 99 plus in my DM requests right now on Instagram, so there are a lot, and I apologize if I haven't gotten back to you. I don't know how many there are at this point because there more keep coming, guys, so I'm a little overwhelmed. So let's see, someone asked me to do ASMR, not sure why. That's your ASMR. All right, this is a really common one. So this person says, "Hi Kelly, I'm a huge fan of your work and videos and was curious as to what tablet you use. Thanks." Long story short, I use the Wacom Intuos tablet. It's the smallest one. It's like $80 here in the US. If you are looking into getting a tablet, I do not recommend getting this tablet. I do recommend getting the one that's like the medium size Wacom Intuos. They usually sit around like $280 to $300. But if you are thinking about taking design seriously, I highly recommend getting this tablet over the smaller one, because the small one, it gets the job done, but it's incredibly frustrating. I've had mine for a few years and I want to break it in half. It doesn't have nearly as much of the sensitivity and just like the general like feel of having not like the smallest one, but there's like a small square one, and then they get longer and they get a little bit thicker. The one that I have is really small and rinky dinky, and I just get anything bigger than that from Wacom, and I can leave a Wacom link in my description box below because a lot of people do ask me. So get a nicer one, they're worth the investment. I don't even have a nicer one here, and I would really like one. Okay, Sophie says, "I'd love to see you design something Deadhead / John Mayer / Online Ceramics, like taking on their kind of aesthetic but designing whatever you want, like your ideal merch from them." I don't know if this makes sense. Sophie, I love this idea. John Mayer is someone I work with at my normal day-to-day job, and his aesthetic is absolutely wonderful, and I adore Online Ceramics quite a bit. I don't know if you've seen like in other videos, I've worn my Online Ceramics hoodie, and I also have a tee. Actually, I have 2 tees from them, and I adore their brand. I love the guys who run it. I think they're awesome people, and I love John Mayer, so I think this would be a great project. So I don't know, good idea. I'll take it into consideration. Okay, I saw this one and I intentionally didn't want to answer it because I wanted to give it a better answer. So this is from Abigail, and she says, "Hi Kelly, I've only recently started getting into graphic design as a part of my job. I run social media and make promotional content for my campus TV station." Awesome. "But I've noticed I spend way too much time fiddling with things like fonts and colors and not enough time actually finishing projects. How do you balance the desire to have something look perfect with having to work on such a deadline? Thank you so much for taking the time to read this. I love your videos. This is a conundrum that a lot of people run into, and I think it gets better with time and a lot of experience. I have this term that I've heard other people throw around too. It's called pixel pushing. It's something where you really hone on one like little spot and you're like, oh, I'll keep tweaking this and I'll keep tweaking this, and you go on and on and on. And then, you know, it's been like 2 hours and you still haven't finished this project that should have taken you like a half hour, and you go down a wormhole. I get it. But remember that you can always come back to something. And so what I like to do is build kind of like I like to layer things so I can build the foundation, and I'll come back and do like sweeps of work on top of it, instead of like building one part here, building one part here, building one part here, and then kind of building it brick by brick, versus like kind of doing it all simultaneously. And I think that helps your timeline a little bit better, and also prevents you from like perfecting one little piece and then everything else looks disjointed. And yeah, remember, you can always change something, so you don't have to settle on something immediately, because chances are it's going to change quite a bit between where you started to the end product. I hope that made sense. Did that make sense? Thanks. Marissa asks, my dude, where is your phone case from? It's so cool. It's this case right here. It says powerful woman, and it's from Casetify. And I can link that below too. This person asks, are you a Taurus? No, I'm a Pisces, but I also don't believe in astrology. Moving on. Ooh, this is an interesting one. He says, hi, my name's Spencer, and I'm doing an argumentative paper for school about why retro design is better than modern design. And I was hoping I could get your opinion as an expert on design. Spencer, I would not consider myself an expert on design. I sometimes act like I am, but I'm not. But let me think about this. This is tough. Why is retro design better? I think, like anything, history repeats itself, and we kind of tend to fall into these cycles of every trend kind of goes in and out, and it'll come back in like 30, 40 years. I think that goes for like fashion, it goes for architecture in general. Like, I feel like in a sense, like political trends, I feel like every so often there is a new cycle of political uproar. And I think that's just how things go. So when we look back at something being retro, we look back at something that might have already worked, versus like modern design, I feel is just, when you say like modern, I'm assuming you mean like more minimal, clean, basic, versus like retro might be a little bit more homey. That's kind of what I feel. I don't know if that's a good answer to your question. That's a tough prompt, but I would say retro is better because we feel it is more consistent and we feel that it has already worked. So that's my general approach. That'd be a fun essay to argue, though. I know I'd love doing that because I love to argue and I love to write essays. All right, what is this person's name? I'm assuming her name is Matty. So Matty asks, hi, Kel, I recently stumbled upon your YouTube channel and I'm so glad I did. I'm going into college to become a graphic designer. Awesome. And your videos have really helped me see inside the world of graphic design. Your redesigning videos really caught my attention and I'm really in love with them. For one of the colleges I have applied to, I have to submit a portfolio, and I wanted to submit a logo redesign, but my dad says I could get in trouble for plagiarism. And I was wondering what you thought about it, and could I get in trouble for it? Thank you, much love, Matty. My dear. First of all, plagiarism is blatantly ripping something off, and redesigning logos, you're changing it enough, and generally the rule is if you change something within it has to be more than 30% of the original product for it to be creatively your own. But also it's a school portfolio project. I do not think Kellogg's is going to come after you because you redesigned their logo. If you slightly knock off their logo and then start profiting off of it and selling a knockoff version of their brand, then you can get in trouble, legally speaking. But yeah, for a school project, absolutely not. And also under YouTube, I'm covered by fair use. I can do these things because I'm not explicitly selling these brands under these new logos. So it's complicated until someone starts to come for us, then things are going to change. But no, Matty, you're good. Some people are just really nice. People just DM me the nicest things. And I really appreciate you guys because I have some hard days sometimes like today. And I really enjoy being able to open my Instagram and then have people be like, hey, you're awesome. So really helps.
Oh yeah, that sounds sick.
Shut up. Oof. Okay, this is a good one. This person's name is Elias, and he asks, any advice for personal branding? I'm having trouble making a monogram for my initials EN. Elias, my dear, personal branding is very difficult. And it's something that all designers have issues with. I have had many identity crises with my own personal branding. For something that's like an E and an N, those are kind of complicated, but maybe find a new way that you could create like more of like a picto mark or just like an icon that might represent your brand a little bit better than an E and an N. But yeah, maybe come up with more creative ways that you could represent your name, because I know a lot of designers love to fall into like using their initials for their design. I use my initials in my design because it kind of worked out that way, but you could easily just do something else. You could totally do literally anything. It doesn't matter. Also, I get a lot of DMs about people who are like 14, 15, who are like, I'm stressing out about what I'm going to study in college, or like I'm thinking about becoming a graphic designer. First of all, go you for thinking of that, but second of all, relax. You're okay. You don't need to decide these things so early on. That's awesome if you want to study it, but do not stress yourself out about what you're going to put in your college portfolio if you're literally like a freshman in high school. You're fine. You got so much time to worry about that stuff. Good Lord. Yeah, I get quite a lot of those. A lot of people say they would die for George, which I would also die for George. He's amazing. See, another one, a person who's 14 and asking for creative tips to be a better graphic designer. Like, guys, go scroll on TikTok or whatever the kids do nowadays. I get quite a few questions about if I'd ever do tutorials on just some of the techniques that I use in Illustrator and Photoshop, or like how I pair type, and that's definitely something that I've thought about, but those videos do take like a little bit more planning than I'm emotionally responsible for right now, just so I can make a solid course that is clear and cohesive and actually teaches a good lesson. But that is something on the horizon for something that I do want to cover. This person says, hey, just want to let you know that I'm so thankful for you because you helped me figure out what I wanted to do as an adult, and I just can't thank you enough. You're incredible. I get actually surprisingly quite a few of these as well, which is mind-boggling to me because I still consider myself quite a mess, as I had a small meltdown a few hours ago. But that's really awesome that you guys feel that you can look up to me and ask me things, and like feel that you have someone to like, I don't know, admire. And it sounds really dumb coming from me because I'm me, but I never had anyone to look up to when I was like going through design school and like wanting to become a graphic designer. There just aren't a lot of people in the field, especially like women and people who like want to work in music, and like designers who want to work in like fashion and stuff. Like it's a tough world out there, and so having someone that you feel that like you can talk to, I think is really awesome. And just like even like, I don't know, feel that like you're working towards someone because you have someone that you admire. I think that's really awesome, and I'm incredibly grateful that I have people who feel that they can see that in me. Does that make sense? I'm not sure. But it's very strange to me, but it makes me feel a little bit better about myself sometimes, because I could be very hard on myself, and I know Matt can attest to that too. But yeah, so thank you guys. I really appreciate you sending like really nice messages like that, because it definitely gets me through a lot of tough days. Ooh, a classic fan favorite question that I've gotten since the beginning of my YouTube channel. Do you know what it is? Do you want to take a guess?
Oh, where are your glasses from?
Where are my glasses from, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, Mariah asks, hi, just found your logo redesign videos and I'm obsessed. I'm sure you get asked this all the time, but I'm going to ask as well. What is the style name of Ray-Ban glasses you wear? I'm in the market for new glasses and yours are perfect. I don't know what style mine are. I know they're a very common frame now, but mine are the sunglasses frames. They make the eyeglasses in silver and black, but they also make them in gold, but they're only in the sunglasses, so I just had them switch out the lenses with my prescription into the frames that are technically the sunglasses frames. But also like there are a ton of brands now that have like knockoffs of these frames, so it's really, I don't think that hard to find frames that are similar to these. I'm getting new glasses as soon as I get it together, because I really need a new prescription because these are no good for me anymore. So really go for some tacos at this point. It's a Taco Tuesday. Okay. Anna asks, hi, I want to get into graphic design and creative directing for a career someday, and I was wondering if you have any tips on getting internships. I want to apply for some, but I'm not sure how to start my portfolio. This is a common question I get too. Maybe one day I can do a video on like how to make a good portfolio, but ultimately at the end of the day, what I found, what works for me and what I learned in school, and if you could watch like my art school video, and you can also watch my first portfolio video review. At the end of the day, you want to have a portfolio that is diverse. pages that can show an array of things that you can do. So my portfolio is spread out from like packaging design to content creation to surface design to UX design to branding and also merchandise design. Those are very different fields. None of those fields overlap. So it's not like I have like 3 branding projects. Oh, I also have a layout project in my portfolio. But none of those things necessarily overlap. I don't have like a few branding projects, a few packaging design projects. I keep it very short and sweet because ultimately at the end of the day, a recruiter is looking for someone who like looks good on paper. And when you're in front of someone who's creative, who's looking at your portfolio, they want to see what you can do and what you can bring to the table. And also most of the time people hire personalities and they want to hire someone that they want to work with. You don't have to be the best designer out there, but if you're cool and you're fun to hang out with and you know like you're good around people, and not necessarily, you don't have to be great around people, but you have to be enjoyable to work with, especially in a creative space. So that's what I mean, like people hire personalities. They want you to fit in with the team, and especially as an internship, you're there to learn, so don't sweat it too much. Just make sure, like, just show what you can do. You're still in school. There's that understanding that you're still in school, or I don't know, maybe you recently came out of school and you're still applying for an internship, but they understand that you're very young and you're there to learn. So that's the general understanding for that. So don't sweat it. Keep it diverse, keep it short, and keep it accessible. So either have a website, have a physical portfolio, or have what I had in my old portfolio is like a literal CD, and some people have like flash drives and the only thing on their flash drive is a PDF of their portfolio. Keep it as easy as possible for someone to just like click through it, and generally websites are the best for that. I recommend using Squarespace. Use code kel.lauren for 10% off your first purchase to get your portfolio started. The sound of a stolen lime in the distance. All right, this DM comes from Kaylina. She says, "Hello, Kelly. My name is Kaylina. I'm a design student at Pacific University, and recently your video." Let me start that again. I really messed that one up.
It's that Limerita.
It's that Limerita kicking in. "Hello, Kelly. My name is Kaylina. I'm a design student at Pacific University, and recently your video showed up in my recommendations on YouTube. I'm trying to start actually putting my work on Instagram, and I was curious if you had any insight on how to do that and getting over the whole, quote, my work isn't good enough yet mindset." Kaylina, I deal with this every single day. This never really goes away, and unfortunately that's a hard pill to swallow because I talk to other people who are older than me, who are more experienced than me, and they're like, yeah, no, it never goes away. You will always forever have imposter syndrome. That's just the downside of it. But putting your stuff on Instagram, that's completely like, that's no, like, don't sweat that. Like, chances are you're probably awesome if you feel like you should put it on Instagram. Yeah, girl, put it on Instagram. And also that acts as like a mobile portfolio for you. That's awesome. In regards to feeling not good enough, I really struggle with this still, and I think at the end of the day, if you surround yourself with people that you trust their opinion, mostly that you trust their opinion, and you ask for honest feedback, and you're generally pretty self-aware of how good you are. I feel that my work is absolutely awful and I could light it on fire at any given point in time because that's what I feel like I should do, but I know that generally I'm a decent designer. At the end of the day, I have people who will tell me that when I feel really terrible about myself, and that's part of having like your circle of trust and people that you can communicate with and you can have honest feedback with. So getting over that, it's really just you gotta take that first step. Just take the leap, and just like everything will fall into place from there. So don't sweat it. You got this. I believe in you. God, my Instagram restarted. Now I gotta scroll down hella. Georgie. George, come here, please. Please, I need you. George. Hey, come here. Everyone wants to see you, buddy. Literally everybody. That worked. What's up, my bud? He's not gonna like this cord. Oh, okay. This person asks, "Hey love, I was wondering how you make your intro for YouTube with the whole typeface going through the whole family. I suck at GIFs and wanted to practice, but I can't do it." Now, my intro, I will put it in here so you can be reminded of it. That was done in Premiere, and I animated that through the keyframes. So I started it. The font is Rock Road. God, I can't talk today. The font is Rock Grotesque, and I keyed in from like, they're literally like a 1/10 of a second apart. So on the first frame, I have the like thin, like condensed light a version of Rock Grotesque, and then I literally went like a tenth of a second over, and then switching out the font family, or not the font family, switching out the font to a slightly thicker one, a wider one, until it goes to the full, pretty much like what my logo looks like. So yeah, that was done in Premiere, and you just go through the font family. Simple as that. Okay, I will do, how many more should I do? Okay, let me find like 2 good ones. All right, well, apparently Instagram deletes my DMs after 2 weeks, so I think that's all I got. Now, obviously, I didn't go through all of my DMs, and apparently my requests only stay in there for 2 weeks, so I'm sorry if you sent me something longer than that. If you sent me something longer than 2 weeks ago, I don't see it anymore. If you want to send it to me again, if it's really urgent, feel free to do that. So I pretty much tried to answer as many of the questions that weren't like repeats that were in my DM. So I hope this helps some of you. And yeah, if you have any questions that you would like me to answer, either comment them down below or shoot me a DM on Instagram and I can answer them to the best of my abilities. I guess maybe do more of these videos because I feel like a lot of my questions that I get are more or less like repeated ones. So hopefully this helps some of you who are thinking about DMing me a question. So hope this saved you some time. Do I have anything else? I can do my Squarespace ad. Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. Today's video was sponsored by my good friends over at Squarespace. If you didn't know, I use Squarespace to host my own website. It is my go-to platform that I recommend it to all of my clients. And also it's an amazing platform to use for your own personal website, portfolio, business, musician, restaurant, anything in the world. There are no patches, updates, anything that you need to change to your website. Nothing. It's always perfect. It's fully customizable. The templates are chef's kiss beautiful. And if you ever have any issues, questions, concerns about your website, their customer service is always on standby, ready to help you. They have helped me many a times when I couldn't figure out how to do something or I was having some weird issue. Because back in the day, I tried to code stuff into my website and then I realized I'm not that good at coding. So if you want to, if you want to kick off your portfolio for this year, next year, whenever, head over to squarespace.com/kel.lauren. That's KELLAUREN. Get 10% off your first purchase if you choose to do so. I adore working with Squarespace because they are truly a platform that I've used for the past 5 years of my life to host my own creative endeavors. So yeah, go check them out. They support my channel, so it means a lot if you support them too. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for sitting with me on my couch on this drizzly, kind of cold night. It's not really that cold. It's like 70 out. It's thematic. It's the holidays. I have a candle and you can't see it. It's out of the frame, but whatever. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and thank you for sticking around this long. You guys are awesome. So, I don't know why I keep saying so. I need to wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Goodbye. Very cold on the teeth. This is why I use straws. Now, a word from our fire.